The Towering Inferno.
Those people are gonna die up there if something's not done.
I want you out of here.
Directed by John Guillermin and produced by the master of disaster, Irwin Allen, The Towering Inferno, 1974, wasn't just a movie, it was an event. With a colossal, star-studded cast featuring Hollywood titans like Steve McQueen, Paul Newman, William Holden, and Faye Dunaway.
It's out of control, and it's coming your way. You got about 15 minutes.
The film set a new standard for the disaster genre, but behind the on-screen chaos and Hollywood glamour,
The Towering Inferno.
the making of The Towering Inferno was a story of fierce rivalries, real-life danger, and production gambles that were just as dramatic as the film itself.
It's out of control, and it's coming your way.
Here are 20 weird facts you didn't know about The Towering Inferno, 1974. Number 1. It was born from a Hollywood studio showdown. Believe it or not, The Towering Inferno was the result of 2 different studios accidentally developing the same movie at the same time. After the massive success of The Poseidon Adventure in 1972, every studio in Hollywood was scrambling for the next big disaster script. Warner Brothers struck first, buying the rights to Richard Martin Stern's novel, The Tower, for a hefty $390,000. Just 8 weeks later, Irwin Allen at 20th Century Fox found a similar book, The Glass Inferno, by Thomas N. Scordia and Frank M. Robinson, and snapped up the rights for $400,000. When both studios realized they were about to compete with nearly identical skyscraper fire movies, they made an unprecedented decision. They teamed up. In a rare move, Fox and Warner Brothers agreed to co-produce the film, splitting the $14 million budget down the middle. In return, 20th Century Fox got the U.S. box office profits.
But it's our fire. Now let's get these people the hell out of here.
I don't think you're listening, Chief. There's no way for a fire on 81 to reach up here, not in this building.
While Warner Brothers took all the earnings from the rest of the world, this gamble on collaboration created one of the biggest blockbusters of the decade. Number 2. The Battle for Top Billing was a movie in itself.
Steve McQueen and Paul Newman race against time as one tiny spark becomes a night.
With Steve McQueen and Paul Newman, 2 of the biggest movie stars on the planet, headlining the film, the question of whose name came first was a major issue. Both actors were known for their powerful screen presence and equally powerful egos. The solution was a clever bit of graphic design known as staggered but equal billing. On the movie posters and in the opening credits, Paul Newman's name is on the left but lower, while Steve McQueen's is on the right but higher. This way, depending on whether you read from left to right or top to bottom, either star could be seen as having top billing. This trick had been considered years earlier when the 2 almost co-starred in Butch Cassidy and The Sundance Kid, but McQueen dropped out. Meanwhile, veteran actor William Holden, whose star had faded slightly, demanded first billing but was denied. Instead, he negotiated a better percentage of the box office profits, a savvy move that ultimately earned him more money from the film than either McQueen or Newman. Number 3. The Grand Party Room was a real-life engineering marvel. The centerpiece of the film's drama is the Promenade Room, the luxurious party hall on the 135th floor where the dedication ceremony takes place. To bring this opulent setting to life, the production team built one of the largest and most expensive sets of its time. The Promenade Deck set covered a staggering 11,000 square feet, stood 25 feet high, and was surrounded by a massive 340-foot painted backdrop of the San Francisco skyline. The entire set was built 10 feet off the studio floor. This wasn't just for show, it was a practical necessity. The elevation allowed the crew to manage the massive amounts of water used in the film's climax, providing a drainage system underneath the floor. It also gave the camera angles a greater sense of height, making the shots of people dangling from windows feel even more terrifying. The set alone cost $300,000 to build in 1974, a testament to the film's massive scale. Number 4. A real fire broke out on set, and Steve McQueen fought it.
It's out of control, and it's coming your way. You got about 15 minutes.
In a case of life imitating art, an actual fire unexpectedly broke out on one of the sound stages during filming. The controlled burns used for the movie's special effects accidentally got out of hand, and the set began to burn for real. Thinking fast, Steve McQueen, ever the man of action, grabbed a fire hose and started helping the real firefighters who had been called to the scene. He was right in the thick of it, dousing the flames alongside the professionals. One of the firefighters, stunned to see a Hollywood superstar working next to him, couldn't help but comment, "My wife is not going to believe this." Without missing a beat, McQueen reportedly shot back, "Neither is mine." It was a surreal moment where the on-screen hero became a real-life hero, if only for a few minutes. If you're enjoying this so far, hit that like button and subscribe for more awesome movie facts. And tell us in the comments, what movie brings you the most nostalgia, and which one should we cover next? Number 5. The director fired a real gun to get a surprised reaction. Producer Irwin Allen was obsessed with capturing authentic reactions from his actors. He wanted genuine shock and terror on screen, and sometimes he went to extreme lengths to get it. During one scene, Allen felt the cast wasn't looking surprised enough. So, without warning anyone, he pulled out a real handgun loaded with blanks and fired it into the ceiling of the set. The sudden deafening blast shocked the actors, who jumped and screamed in genuine fear. Allen got the terrified reaction he wanted, and the take made it into the movie. While the method was highly unorthodox and would never be allowed on a film set today, it's a wild example of how far he was willing to go for cinematic realism. Number 6. Paul Newman performed his own terrifying stairwell stunts.
Smother it! Try to smother it! Put it around over here!
While Steve McQueen was known for his love of high-octane stunts, Paul Newman wasn't afraid to get his hands dirty either. One of the film's most tense sequences involves his character, the architect Doug Roberts, navigating a destroyed and dangling stairwell to reach the trapped guests. The scene required him to climb up and down the mangled, bent railing of the staircase, hundreds of feet in the air. Newman insisted on doing much of this dangerous stunt work himself, adding a layer of authenticity to his character's desperation. His willingness to perform these physically demanding stunts helped sell the life-or-death stakes of the situation and proved he was just as tough as his on-screen rival. Number 7. Steve McQueen did the insane helicopter stunt against orders.
More suspense than you've ever seen in one motion picture. Steve McQueen is the fire chief.
Not to be outdone by Newman, Steve McQueen insisted on performing one of the film's most dangerous stunts himself. In the scene where his character, Fire Chief O'Halloran, has to leap from a helicopter onto the roof of the burning skyscraper, McQueen was adamant that he be the one to do it. Producer Irwin Allen was strongly against it, arguing it was far too risky for his star actor. The stunt involved a helicopter hovering precariously close to the rooftop set, which was rigged with pyrotechnics. But McQueen wouldn't back down. He was a licensed pilot and an experienced daredevil, and he wanted the thrill and authenticity of doing the jump for real. He got his way, and the breathtaking shot of him making the leap is one of the film's most memorable moments. Number 8. Faye Dunaway's on-set behavior caused major drama.
Okay. I'm asking.
According to stuntman Ernie F. Orsatti, actress Faye Dunaway was notoriously difficult to work with during the production. She was often late to the set or would fail to show up entirely, causing major delays and frustrating her fellow cast members. Her unprofessionalism particularly angered screen legend William Holden. After one too many delays caused by Dunaway, Holden reportedly lost his temper, shoved her against a wall, and gave her a stern warning. The confrontation apparently worked. For the next month of filming, Dunaway had a perfect attendance record and was on time every day. Both McQueen and Dunaway also gave strict instructions that they were not to be approached by any visitors on set, adding to the tense atmosphere. Number 9. The World Trade Center inspired the movie's premise. The idea for a skyscraper fire epic wasn't pulled out of thin air. Both novels the film was based on were directly inspired by the construction of the World Trade Center in New York City in the early 1970s. As these two massive towers rose into the sky, people began to wonder about the potential dangers of such enormous structures, particularly the horrifying possibility of a fire breaking out on an upper floor. In Richard Martin Stern's novel, The Tower, the fictional 125-story glass tower is explicitly set right next to the North Tower of the World Trade Center. The climax of that book even involved a dramatic rescue mission mounted from the real-life WTC, with a breeches buoy strung between the two buildings. Number 10. A real-life skyscraper fire mirrored the film's plot. In an incredibly eerie and tragic coincidence, a real-world disaster that mirrored the film's plot occurred the same year it was released. On February 1, 1974, the Joelma building, a 25-story skyscraper in Sao Paulo, Brazil, caught fire. The blaze was started by a faulty air conditioning unit on the 12th floor, the exact same cause as the fire in the Towering Inferno. The fire spread rapidly due to flammable building materials, trapping hundreds of people inside. Tragically, 179 people lost their lives in the disaster. The real-life parallels to the movie, which was in production at the time, were uncanny and added a chilling layer of relevance to the film upon its release. Number 11. 1,000 real firefighters were hired for the production. To ensure the firefighting scenes looked as authentic as possible, the production didn't just rely on actors and costumes.
Who's coming your way?
Throughout the filming process, over 1,000 real-life, active-duty firefighters were hired as extras and technical advisors. They operated the equipment, handled the hoses, and helped choreograph the rescue sequences to reflect actual firefighting procedures. Their presence on set added an invaluable layer of realism to the movie, making the scenes of chaos and heroism feel grounded and believable. This dedication to authenticity is a major reason why the film still holds up so well today. Number 12. McQueen went on ride-alongs and became a temporary firefighter. Steve McQueen was famous for his dedication to his roles, and playing Fire Chief O'Halloran was no exception. To prepare, he spent time with the Los Angeles Fire Department, going on ride-alongs to emergency calls to understand the mindset and daily life of a firefighter. During one of these ride-alongs, he wasn't just an observer. A real call came in about a fire, and McQueen actually participated in dousing the blaze. He was so immersed in the experience that he became an honorary member of the fire crew for a day, further blurring the line between the actor and the hero he was portraying. Number 13. The film's writer was forever changed by his research. The experience of making The Towering Inferno left a lasting psychological impact on some of the people involved. Screenwriter Sterling Silliphant took his research for the script very seriously, interviewing numerous firefighters about the realities of their job and the dangers of high-rise fires. What he learned apparently stayed with him for the rest of his life. In an interview years later, Silliphant admitted that ever since writing the movie, whenever he entered a tall building, he would subconsciously find the nearest sprinkler head and sit directly under it. The knowledge he gained about fire safety and sprinkler systems had permanently changed his behavior. Number 14. It contains a musical Easter egg from another disaster classic. Producer Irwin Allen loved to connect his films, and he slipped a subtle nod to his previous blockbuster, The Poseidon Adventure, into the soundtrack of The Towering Inferno. If you listen closely during some of the party scenes in the promenade room before the fire breaks out, you can hear the background band playing an instrumental version of The Morning After. That song was the Oscar-winning theme from The Poseidon Adventure, a gentle musical cue that links the two most iconic disaster films of the 1970s. Number 15. It was the only film to co-star Paul Newman and his son. The Towering Inferno holds a special, albeit bittersweet, place in the Newman family history. It was the one and only feature film to co-star Paul Newman, and his son, Scott Newman, who was also an actor, played the small role of a young, acrophobic firefighter who struggles with the height. Most of his scenes were alongside Steve McQueen. Tragically, just 4 years after the film's release, Scott Newman died of an accidental drug overdose at the age of 28. In the wake of this devastating loss, Paul Newman founded the Scott Newman Center, a foundation dedicated to educating young people about the dangers of drug abuse. Number 16. It was the highest-grossing film of 1974. The studio's big gamble paid off spectacularly. The Towering Inferno was a runaway success, capturing the public's imagination and packing theaters across the country. It became the highest-grossing film of 1974, earning over $116 million at the domestic box office.
The Towering Inferno.
Those people are gonna die up there if something's not done.
I want you out of here.
The equivalent of over $600 million today. Its massive commercial success solidified the disaster movie as a dominant genre of the 1970s and proved that audiences had a huge appetite for large-scale, star-studded spectacles filled with suspense and action. Number 17. The movie inspired the greatest action film of all time. The Towering Inferno's influence extends far beyond the disaster genre. According to novelist Roderick Thorpe, the film was the direct inspiration for his 1979 book, Nothing Lasts Forever. After watching The Towering Inferno, Thorpe had a vivid dream that night about a man trapped in a skyscraper being hunted by armed assailants. He turned that dream into a novel, which was later adapted into the 1988 film Die Hard. That's right. Without the story of a fire in the glass tower, we might never have gotten the story of John McClane fighting terrorists in Nakatomi Plaza. Number 18. Steve McQueen took a 4-year break from acting after this film. The Towering Inferno was such a massive undertaking and a crowning achievement in Steve McQueen's career that he decided to step away from Hollywood immediately after its release. Burnt out from the demanding production and tired of the Hollywood grind, he took a 4-year hiatus from acting. He focused on his passion for motorcycle racing and lived a more private life away from the spotlight. He wouldn't return to the screen until 1978 for the historical drama An Enemy of the People. This film marked the end of an era for McQueen, capping off his run as one of the most bankable and iconic stars of the 60s and 70s. Number 19. The film had a lasting impact on building codes. While the film was a work of fiction, its depiction of the dangers of skyscraper fires had a very real impact. The movie highlighted major fire safety concerns, such as the lack of sprinkler systems in high-rises and the use of highly flammable materials in furniture and construction. The public conversation sparked by the film put pressure on city governments and building developers to reevaluate safety standards. Many modern fire codes, including the mandatory installation of sprinkler systems in new high-rise buildings, can be traced back to the increased awareness generated by The Towering Inferno. Number 20. The cast was forbidden from talking about the rivalry. The professional rivalry between Steve McQueen and Paul Newman was the stuff of Hollywood legend, and it was impossible to ignore on the set of The Towering Inferno. Both men were megastars in the 1970s, each known for their cool, tough guy personas, and neither was willing to play second fiddle. To keep things fair, their contracts were nearly identical. McQueen reportedly demanded that he have exactly the same number of lines as Newman, down to the last word. Newman, in turn, insisted on equal screen time. Even the film's promotional materials became a battleground. Newman's name appeared first in the credits, but McQueen's was positioned slightly higher on the poster, an arrangement so carefully negotiated that Hollywood still uses it as an example of how to handle star billing. The rivalry even influenced the movie itself. Newman's character was originally set to be the film's main hero, but to satisfy McQueen, the script was rewritten so his character would have just as many heroic moments. For example, the climactic scene where the building is finally saved was crafted to give both stars equal saves, ensuring neither came off looking less brave or capable. The tension was so notorious that the studio worried it would overshadow the movie. To prevent gossip from dominating the press, Warner Brothers and 20th Century Fox issued a strict gag order forbidding cast and crew from talking about the feud. Interviews were carefully managed so the focus stayed on the groundbreaking special effects and the spectacle of Irwin Allen's disaster epic, not on which leading man had the bigger ego. In the end, the rivalry added an extra layer of electricity to the production. Both actors delivered powerhouse performances, perhaps because each was so determined not to be outdone by the other. And that's 20 shocking facts about The Towering Inferno, 1974. From real-life inspiration to legendary performances, Irwin Allen's disaster epic remains one of the greatest films ever made. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment which movie we should cover next.